Good, happy Wednesday evening. I'm Riley King, and welcome to your 9 p.m. news and weather. Let's get started. First up, person shot in chest in Manchester. A person was shot in the chest at the intersection of Beach and Merrimack Streets in Manchester shortly before 7 p.m., officials confirm. A dispatcher for Manchester Fire told the Riley King newscast just after 7 p.m. that an ambulance was en route to the hospital. Stay with us for updates on this story. We have a crew at the scene. Suicidal man prompts shelter in place warning in Bretton Wood neighborhood.
What are you now?
I'm a mermaid.
With Swath Kids, That Time is another great adventure. Every adventure ends in clean.
Swath Kids.
That's right. Obviously, the events of 2 years ago on the top of everyone's mind tonight. The good news, the scene is all clear at this hour. The bad news, a man was found dead inside of his home. Now, authorities from multiple agencies were called here to a home on Mill Pond Road around 1 this afternoon for reports of a suicidal man. That triggered a shelter in place for all people who live in this area. Police tell us they tried to get to the man and talk him out of the situation, but they had no luck. The man was later found dead inside his home to an apparent suicide. Police say they're not releasing any more information on that individual while they continue to notify family members. All of this, of course, triggering horrific memories of when Officer Stephen Arkell was killed.
It's scary, you don't know what's going on, but that was horrific because it was so violent, loss of life, more loss of life but the explosion too was incredible. I mean, you don't forget that kind of stuff.
Honestly, the guys did a fantastic job. I don't think anybody even thought about that while this was going on. They may reflect on that now.
Now, people were allowed back into their homes at around 4:30 this afternoon. Police expect to release more information later on tonight. Live in Brentwood, I'm Charisse LeClaire, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that report. Republicans ready to support Ginta after narrow win. Let's take a listen to this video from WMUR News 9.
Frank always dreamed of exploring the rainforests of Costa Rica. But with the JetBlue card, he got there faster than he could learn about the wildlife.
Big smiles. Big smiles.
Fly faster than you think. Get 3 times points on JetBlue purchases, 2 times at restaurants and grocery stores, and 1 time on all other purchases. The JetBlue card.
We're a family, and families sometimes have disagreements.
But for more than a year, it was a family that had disowned him. So you really couldn't blame Frank Ginta if he felt a small measure of satisfaction on Wednesday, as those who had called for his political head on a platter sang a different tune. From the Senate President,
I want to congratulate Congressman Frank Ginta,
to the Speaker of the House,
So get out there and work for those Republican candidates.
to Senator Kelly Ayotte.
Us coming together, we will succeed. Up and down, this ticket.
All embrace the ticket that Frank Ginta is once again a part of.
We are a unified party. I'm looking forward to making sure that everyone on this ticket wins in New Hampshire, starting with Kelly Ayotte.
Elections are about the people. They make the decisions. It's the party's job to make sure that those Republicans who have been chosen get elected. And we're ready to do that for all of our nominees.
During last week's Granite State debate, though, challenger Rich Ashew said if Ginta won the primary, he might support him, with conditions.
So, if Frank was to admit that he broke the law, admit that he lied about it, and apologize to the voters, then I'd consider supporting him.
Well, none of that happened, so true to his word, Ashew only offered support to the GOP ticket collectively. But if hard feelings do exist, they weren't visible on Wednesday, and the newly minted GOP candidate for governor pinned much of the drama on a familiar foil.
That's all press-driven. That really is all press-driven.
Sorry about that. So the general election first CD matchup now threatens to give the Rocky franchise a run for its money. This November, New Hampshire voters will witness Ginta Shea Porter Part 4. Live in the studio, Josh McKelvin, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that report. Update. Frank Edelbert concedes GOP governor's primary race, endorses Chris Sununu. Let's take a listen to the video from WMUR News 9.
Hair goes through a lot, so make sure it's ready for anything. New Dove Men Plus Care Fortifying Shampoo is specially engineered for men to leave your hair stronger and more resilient. Dove Men Plus Care, real life tested.
Let's go get him.
Let's go get him. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Thank you.
This afternoon, Frank Edelblut conceded the Republican race for governor to Chris Sununu, who wasted no time pivoting to the general election and his Democratic opponent.
We're going to continue talking about issues, talking about things that matter, talking about plans to get our stagnant economy going again. My guess is they're going to keep slinging mud and doing anything they can to avoid talking about those issues.
The executive counselor from Newfields won by just 804 votes out of more than 100,000 cast. The narrow margin, apparently, a Sununu rite of passage.
Tough primaries seem to be a family tradition. I think I won my primary by 1,400 votes. My son John won his Senate primary by 616 votes, and it looks like Christopher will win by about 1,100.
Sununu will face Democratic gubernatorial nominee Colin Van Ostern, who was in Nashua today discussing his plan for a $300 million extension of commuter rail to New Hampshire.
I ran on this issue. It's one of the reasons I ran for this odd thing called the Executive Council in the first place. I helped get the economic feasibility study done.
The latest Granite State poll shows almost 3/4 of New Hampshire voters don't know who Van Ostern is. Name recognition isn't as big of a problem for the Republican in this race, but Democrats who've been doing electoral battle with the Sununus through 4 decades now say, quote, the bloom is off that rose.
I think it's pretty clear now that the Sununu name does not have the attraction that it may once have had in New Hampshire.
But that name did make it through this hotly contested primary. And while the Democratic Party is trying to paint him as an extremist, Republicans say the pro-choice Sununu is their most moderate statewide candidate in years. Adam Sexton, WMUR.
Okay, and there you go on that report. Thank you, Adam. WMUR employee suspended after arrest on 6 charges of owning child porn. Police arrested a 44-year-old man on charges of 6 counts of possessing images of child abuse. Christopher Murphy of 66 Willow Road is being held without bail and has an arraignment scheduled for Thursday. WMUR has reported that Murray works in the sales department for their station. Chris Murray has been suspended pending the outcome of the case. Jeff Barlett, WMUR president and general manager, wrote in a statement, the arrest was a result of a joint investigation between the East Kingston Police Department and Internet Crimes Against Child Task Force. Hudson, Portsmouth, Salem, Mount Vernon, and Hampton police forces participated in the task force. It is possible that Murray will face more charges as the result of this investigation. Hillary Clinton releases more medical information after pneumonia diagnosis. Let's take a listen to the video from ABC News.
The visitors, rabbits, and Jim like that about Trivago, and so should you. Hotel Trivago.
Difference at this point does it make? I thought using one device would be simpler. I'm back!
Okay, and there you go on that report. This could bring on the last big hurrah for Fed rate hike talk. The last big blast of data before the Fed meets next week could stir up a final debate Thursday about whether there's a September rate hike in the offering. Pastor interrupts Trump to stop him from attacking Clinton in church. Take a look at the video. Oh, sorry about that.
Now Hillary Clinton. Okay. Okay, that's good. And I'm going to go back on the, okay. Flint's pain is a result of so many different failures, and I must say that no, I never would. And frankly, Time Magazine, as you know, they reported this year that the federal government, they've got a long way to go to bring Flint back. And I look at the damage done, and the damage can be taken care of. Thank you, Pastor.
Okay, and there you go on that report. Now let's take a look at your weather. Here's a live look on radar right now. As you see on radar, we have some clouds in New Hampshire. Some are breaking up and moving out of New Hampshire. Now let's take a look at your weather on our weather system. Your weather on our weather system right now, your wind speed peak is 5 miles per hour. Average is 2. Current is 1 in between west and northwest. Your temperature is 56 degrees. Your dew point is 52 degrees. Your forecast is partly cloudy. Your pressure is 29.97. And month rainfall total is 0.84. Now let's take a look at your 7-day forecast. And hold on. Here we go. Let's look at your next 7-day forecast. And that does it for your 9 p.m. news and weather. I'll see you back here for Riley's Kingdom of Weather for tomorrow morning and the Riley King newscast. Have a great night, everyone, and good night. Bye.